no matter what anybody does, Trevor Lawrence is still unquestionably the best quarterback from that class, no matter what. I'm sorry. I'm watching Justin Fields play. That kid is going to be the best quarterback from that class. In fact, I think he already is. Tell me I'm wrong.
Some of these throws, Dan, are throws that it feels like he should be able to, regardless of what the offense is, he's throwing the ball 5 yards short of the receiver.
Yes.
Who's only standing 8 yards away. Everything that people have told you he's bad at was on full display in the very limited time that we saw him on Saturday
I
night.
can't argue it. I can't argue it.
When Justin Fields arrived in the NFL, he was a highly touted prospect with a dual-threat reputation: lightning speed, cannon arm, and electric promise. Drafted 11th overall in 2021, Justin Fields seemed destined to become the Chicago Bears franchise savior. But just a few seasons later, fans and analysts are asking, what went so wrong? Justin Fields consistently leads the league in troubling stats, like the most sacks, 151 since 2021, with the highest sack rate of 11.9%, the most fumbles with 44, and an excessive number of interceptions on long developing plays. In a league where grooming a quarterback is as much as art as it is science, Fields found himself buried beneath instability. 3 offensive coordinators and 2 head coaches in Chicago alone. Critics point to a fatal flaw. Analysts suggest Fields lacks the natural ability to see things clearly, something that, let's be honest, may never change. Even within the locker room, he's voiced his own frustration, saying things like, I wasn't playing my game, or I felt robotic, blaming poor fit between his instincts and the systems he was slotted into. But now, after stops in Pittsburgh and Chicago, Fields finds himself now as the starting quarterback for the New York Jets. But this is the last chance audition. His preseason has been mixed with flashes of athletic brilliance and creative rushes, but also missed passes, erratic decision-making, and setbacks, including a minor foot injury that had Jets fans thinking their season was over before it started, and limited passing in training camp. And the harsh truth? Well, according to the Athletic's recent 2025 quarterback rankings, Fields ranks 27th among all QBs, firmly in Tier 4, a status that suggests he's either replaceable or not ready to lead in a pass-first offense, with the Jets leaning heavily on the run and RPOs to maximize his upside. The question is no longer what went wrong. It's more of, can he turn it around before it's too late? To understand Justin Fields' problems, we must address the elephant in the room. Let's begin with his career statistics, which provide a clear picture of his performance. Fields has started 44 games, posting a 14-30 record. That's a 31.8 win percentage. His passing stats include 684 completions out of 1,119 attempts for a 61.1 completion rate, 7,780 passing yards, 45 touchdowns, and 31 interceptions. In 2024 with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he started 6 games, completing 65.8% of his passes for 1,106 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 interception. And the team averaged 19.3 points per game in his starts. These numbers highlight several issues. First, his 61% completion rate is well below the league average for starting quarterbacks, which typically sits around 65 to 67% for successful passers. For comparison, top quarterbacks like Pat Mahomes or Josh Allen consistently exceed 65%. Fields' 7 yards per attempt is respectable, but not elite. And his touchdown to interception ratio indicates struggles with ball security. In 2022, he led the league with 55 sacks taken, tied with Russell Wilson, suggesting he holds the ball too long or fails to read defenses quickly enough. His 2024 season with the Steelers saw him benched after a 4-2 start, raising questions about his ability to maintain a starting role. Now, Fields' rushing stats are a significant strength: 2,509 rushing yards and 19 touchdowns over his career, including 1,143 yards and 8 touchdowns in 2022 alone. However, his reliance on his legs often overshadows his passing deficiencies. His 2022 season, while hyped for his rushing prowess, saw the Bears' offense ranked 28th in total yards, with Fields' 60.4% completion rate and an 85.2 passer rating, reflecting a limited passing attack. His 43% yards after catch rate ranked 30th among quarterbacks, indicating he struggles to maximize easy, high percentage throws that top offenses rely on. And while his fantasy football value is high as he was QB7 in points per game, in the real world, his impact as a passer remains underwhelming. Watching film from his second preseason game this past weekend revealed persistent issues. On a first down play, Fields under pressure threw a high ball to Breece Hall. Then, on a second down play, Fields threw a screen pass that was inaccurately placed. This was a routine throw from a clean pocket, yet Fields' delivery lacked precision. Analysts note that he has a slight hesitation and clunky mechanics in his throwing motion, which disrupts timing and accuracy. Fields' decision-making also falters under pressure. During joint practice against these same New York Giants, Fields threw an out route to Garrett Wilson that was far too outside. This was another routine throw with a clean pocket. In basketball, we call these layups, and you can't miss layups. Then from another play in the preseason game, on a 3rd down and 2, he misses Garrett Wilson on a simple slant route. The coverage was good, I'll give you that, but that pass has to be completed. Missing routine passes with a clean pocket is one of the reasons he's on his 3rd team in 3 years. He wound up finishing the game going 1 of 5 for 4 yards, without even attempting a pass downfield. A conservative choice, but one that reflects a broader tendency to hesitate on challenging passes. This often leads to sacks or scrambles as he struggles to anticipate receivers' breaks. These moments point to a lack of elite anticipation, a critical skill for NFL quarterbacks. His 2022 season with the Bears further illustrates these flaws, despite a high volume of deep passes. I'm talking about passes traveling 10 plus yards. His completion rate on these throws was inconsistent, and he struggled with short intermediate passes as well. For example, Cole Kmet led the NFL in target separation at 4.4 yards, yet Fields often failed to capitalize on these open looks. His tendency to hold the ball too long contributed to his league-leading 55 sacks, as he often failed to progress through his reads quickly enough. In 2024, even in a simplified Steelers offense, Fields averaged only 26.8 pass attempts per game, suggesting coaches limited his passing responsibility to manage his inconsistencies. Training camp reports from the Jets further highlight these issues. In one session, Fields went 9 of 17 with 2 interceptions, with no completions beyond 5 air yards, indicating an ongoing accuracy and processing challenge. His mechanics described as clunky, and his hesitation in reading defenses remain significant hurdles. And while he's shown flashes of brilliance, like a 312-yard, 3-touchdown game against the Colts in 2024, these performances are outliers rather than the norm. To be fair, Fields hasn't always had ideal circumstances. In Chicago, he played behind a decent but not elite offensive line, which was ranked 14th by Pro Football Focus in 2022. But the line was much worse than even the rankings. His receiving core, including Darnell Mooney and Cole Kmet, was solid, but lacked a true number 1 receiver until DJ Moore arrived in 2023. Coaching instability, particularly under Matt Nagy, didn't help, as Nagy's system wasn't tailored to Fields' dual threat style. In Pittsburgh, Fields faced a quarterback competition with Russell Wilson, and despite a 4-2 start in 2024, he was benched, suggesting the coaches lacked confidence in his consistency. However, these challenges only explain so much. Kmet's 4.4 yards of target separation and Mooney's 3.6 yards, which was 14th in the NFL in 2022, indicate Fields has had open targets he didn't consistently hit. In Pittsburgh, the Steelers' offense was designed to minimize his passing load, yet he still struggled to elevate the team beyond a game manager role. With their Jets in 2025, Fields has a strong supporting cast: Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, and a solid offensive line. Yet, early struggles in training camp and preseason suggest he's not capitalizing on these advantages. Injuries like a dislocated thumb in 2023 and a hamstring in 2024 have disrupted his rhythm, but they don't fully account for his persistent mechanical and decision-making issues. Fields' athleticism, highlighted by his 4.4 in the 40-yard dash, 4th fastest among quarterbacks, has fueled hype that often overshadow his flaws. Media outlets like ESPN have praised his potential, with analysts arguing that he just needs more help. Yet this narrative can be misleading. His 2022 rushing performance, which consisted of 1,143 yards, was elite, but his passing improvements were marginal. The Bears were 3-14 that year, securing the number 1 pick. That reflects team failure, but Fields' role as the offensive leader can't be ignored. Comparisons to quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson are instructive. Jackson is another dual-threat quarterback. He has a career 65% completion rate and a 98 passer rating, far surpassing Fields. Jackson's ability to balance the rushing with his efficient passing sets a standard Fields hasn't approached. Fields is 14-30 in his career as a starter, which underscores his inability to elevate mediocre rosters, unlike elite quarterbacks who consistently improve the team's performances. So what does the future hold for Justin Fields? At 26, he's young. He has fantasy football value. However, his real-world performance as a passer, marked by his inaccurate throws, hesitant decision-making, and a reliance on rushing, limits his ceiling as a franchise quarterback. He's on his third team in 3 years, and although the Jets did give him a 2-year, $40 million deal this past offseason, that's not a lot of money for a starting caliber quarterback in 2025. And for the Jets, it's a gamble, especially given his uneven preseason and training camp performances. In conclusion, Justin Fields' struggles stem from mechanical flaws, slow processing, and an inability to consistently execute as a passer, despite his exceptional athleticism. And while contextual factors like coaching and roster quality play a role, the best quarterbacks overcome such challenges, and Fields has yet to do so consistently. His 2025 season with the Jets is likely his last chance to prove he's a legitimate NFL starter. Until he redefines his passing game, Fields remains a talented but flawed quarterback who hasn't lived up to the hype. But speaking of hype, there's another guy who has failed to live up to expectations to the point where he just lost the starting quarterback competition to Daniel Jones. So if you want to know what they aren't telling you about Anthony Richardson, just click right here.